Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray each and every day that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations will learn to accept, receive, and share the wisdom, the knowledge, and the blessings from the universe. Now, with that said, um, have received information here today, and I'm being prompted by spirit guides to have this conversation. And I got to say that right off the bat, it's a little difficult for me to have this conversation, but it has been spoken and said, um, and I think it needs repeating. Okay. Hello, Maverick. So I would rather stay away from these kinds of subjects, but I think it's important enough because it was stated and has been stated. And, so why not go ahead and, I guess, be another voice because I've been this voice for a while now. Well, the information is that possibly between now and November the 20th of this year, and at least by the end of this year, because of certain time frames that happen in the woo-woo world, and it involves the Mater, the Vlash, and all those are the two bad guys. And they're planning and have been planning for quite some time now another type of virus attempt against humankind. And that this last was just basically a test run. And that this could very well happen because the Agenda 21 thing that has been around for quite some time, and I've mentioned this in videos before, they have not had the results that they were hoping for by Agenda 21. But because 2021 is just in a few months, they need to try to secure whatever it is they feel that they need to secure. And the Vlash and the Mater, as I have explained before, and I was sort of guessing about this, but then today it was reaffirmed that, yeah, I was right about my guess. There's some infighting going on within the bad guy groups, okay? And but they will both agree that they want to do something against humanity. There's too many of us, things have gotten out of hand, and I guess they've decided not to blow up the planet, but they would surely like to do something nasty to the planet. Now, I find this very disconcerting, but we have been warned. I have warned y'all that, these next couple of years was going to be really rough. And so this warning that has come out in that there are those on the good side who have been doing their best to try to get an antidote, if you will, into the water supplies, so that if and when they do this craziness that they have been discussing, then there will be a vast majority of people kind of sort of already had their vaccine. So, and apparently it only takes a couple of drops of whatever to make us, immune to whatever it is they're going to do, they're planning. Now, the Kerrs are I guess, the headmasters, if you will. And they're trying to negotiate any type of, serious humankind kind of issue. And from what I understand, they've been in negotiations, and they are in negotiations now to try to minimize any kind of, horrific damage to humankind. But here's the caveat to that. Is listening to Dante today, and one of his videos went private as I was trying to watch the second video. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And the interesting thing is that I guess it was Sunday, this being Tuesday, well, it's Wednesday now. I had this, this weird, hadn't thought of this in a while, Dante thing. And I was like, there's something serious going on here. I don't know what it is, but something serious is going on here. I wonder if anything's going to show up here in the next few days. Now, this is Tuesday, or, was. And I watched the video and I went, holy crap, there really is something, serious going on. Whoa. Now, the caveat to this is that if some type of negotiations are made, the Vlach and the Mater are not those kind of folks who are just going to say, well, okay, we're going to leave this alone. No, they're going to want to destroy something on the way out. And that it could very well be earthquakes. It could very well be, power lines, supplies. It could be, a dirty nuke in a big city. It could be any type of large major catastrophe. And that the powers that be that are trying to stop this, apparently, if it comes down to war to stop them, then I guess they're ready to do that, to stop these folks from trying to, harm the planet and us. But they're just mean and nasty enough that they just don't want to let it go. So I've had some very strange dreams lately, and like the last couple of days, and having this, I was doing something around the house day before yesterday. It was Sunday, and I was like, there's something up. There is just something up, and I had this sinking feeling, you know what I mean? And so, trying not to be negative about this, I was like, well, what the hell's going on here? Well, apparently the woo-woo stuff is really hot right now. And that, like I say, the folks that want to do us harm want to kill a bunch of us. I mean, they want to do a bunch of it. I mean, including wildlife, and, they want to pollute. They want to put this biological type event into the water. I guess they're just going to do a cloud spraying thing, and we're all going to wake up dead the next day or something. But, it may be the zombie apocalypse they've been showing us. I was watching an old episode of Warehouse 13 the other day. Oh, wait a minute. Was it Warehouse 13? Or no, it might have been Eureka. Anyway, and they showed this apocalypse. They had, it was a fake TV thing, but NBC was announcing it and how many people were affected and how this was carrying, and it showed the planet and how fast, and the CDC and all this kind of stuff. And it was like really fascinating. And I think it was Warehouse 13, season 4, somewhere in there. But anyway, it was so shockingly true as to what they were putting up on the screen and all the dots and all this kind of stuff. I was like, wow. Now this could have just been somebody's imagination, but I was like, wow, okay. So, they're supposedly, the bad guys have been showing us the truth for a long time. And it's like, all right, well, having nothing to do with the Bible, but having things to do with the Bible, in that here's part of this deal. The Bible has been written with an ending, right? And the ending is a bunch of us die, period. And that, but after that, though, though there'll be 1,000 years of peace. Okay, well, why 1,000 years? But that was just my like, why 1,000? But anyway, so but here's the thing: the folks that have nudged the Bible along, if you will, over the many centuries, is this: in order for the prophecies to come true, then the apocalypse must come true. Now, that's their point of view. You have to look at this thing from a much higher perspective. So, from the higher perspective, they've been watching this for thousands of years. And so now it's like whatever their time frame is or was, this is time for the apocalypse. Now, because they want to end the story, you see. It's not about you or me. It's about their story, their plan. And they told us a while back about Agenda 21 and about Agenda 30. So they have not been lying about this or anything. They've been putting this stuff right dead in our face for a long time. George Bush Sr. in his famous speech that I watched live on TV about, there will only be one government, there will be a new world order. Holy crap, So, but the woo-woo here, and here's the thing about this. I've been watching Dante now for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, a long time. Back when he first started his videos about the Russian alien book, or the alien book from the Russians or whatever, and also about Alien Mountain up in Canada and some other things. I go way back with watching Dante. And many of the things that I've seen him talk about or show or whatever have come true, or to me proved to be true. But the coinky dinky thing about this for me was me having this thought the other day, and then this shows up today. And apparently, if the bad guys get pissed off enough, they're ready to do this at any moment. From now until the 20th of November is supposed to be some kind of window in their timeline. But whatever it is that they might try to do or will do, if they don't do a blanket kill the humanity, then they're going to erupt volcanoes. They might, have, the directed energy weapons that we see on the radar. It's not coming from our satellites. And you have to think of it this way. In order to create a beam of that magnitude, now I know they put some pretty good satellites up there, but I've thought about this, and from a physics standpoint, that's a lot of energy in a satellite that has to build up to shoot this laser thing. Not to say they don't have it, but I've seen spaceships get blowed up over my house, and these guys have these lasers, that just, holy crap. So I know that it exists up in space because I've witnessed it over my house. And so here's the thing. Large cities obviously are going to be targets, regardless of what these crazy entities have decided to do. Now, the good guys are trying to get them to leave us the mess alone. They're trying to get them to just, okay, stop this mess, and it's going to require a lot of prayer and a lot of effort. And so one of the things I don't want folks to get in a panic about, but here's the thing, if ever there was a time to get your shit together, it'd be now. Will they actually do something? We all hope not, especially planet-wide. But these crazy entities have the capability. They also have the capability to create large earthquakes. And y'all know we've had earthquakes in some really strange places. If they was to hit a good energy beam somewhere along the New Madrid, it would mess up, possibly kill, and separate the two sides of the United States. And I have thought about that in the past and did a lot of research. And it wouldn't take a lot for 2 or 3 feet of water to be risen or whatever, or be displaced, to flood a lot of areas. I mean, there's a lot of places. When I lived in Tampa, we were only 9 feet above sea level. We were a long way from the ocean, but we were only 9 feet above sea level. So the idea that a 2 foot rise and some interesting, subductions and up and downs with the plates and so forth, and apparently the Vlash and the Mater have the capability to, if they wanted to, blow the planet up. But they would like to create as much chaos as possible because that's what they live on. They love the chaos. So if you live in an area that's prone to something, if you're in a large city, or near one, I would just beware. Okay. Now, supposedly the good guys have been putting these little drops of water in all different kinds of places. But apparently the antidote doesn't work in seawater. So how true is this? I don't know. I just know that a lot of stuff that he has said has come true. I know from my own personal feelings from my spirit guide, my angel guide, however you want to say, like I said, I knew 2 days ago that something strange was up, and hadn't mentioned anything because I always wait to see if it, if information actually gets to me through some other medium, and it has. So it's like, well, down, okay, so that's what that dream was all about, right? So what do we do? And I thought about this, and I was like, should I do a video about this or not? Should I like warn folks? I immediately started to go into sort of a panic. And I thought to myself, I would rather know that what the bad guys' plans are, just so I can be ready. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but now I can pray against it, So what would you rather do? Would you rather not know that something may come, that this may actually happen, when we're all praying no? And let's pray for the good guys to strike some kind of a deal, and let's pray that the bad guys will accept a compromise. You know what I'm saying? So whatever these bad guys' intentions are, I don't think it can be explained in any kind of human terms, because we just wouldn't get it. Because these entities are not human. So therefore, let's put it this way, not to put a bad mouth on Klingons, but let's put it this way. So one of the bad guys are the Klingons, okay? And war and death and battle, that kind of thing. And death to the humans, or, these guys, make the Klingons look like, wussies in the playground, you know what I mean? So it's like that TV series that was on for a while called V, guess who? They're actually showing us one of those, what one of those races are, the Vlash, V. And folks will say, well, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. You got to stop and say, maybe, because them folks, all they wanted to do was basically eat us, control us, and hold us down, right? Guess who? That's the bad guys. So the good guys are trying to stop these crazy folk. They're not folk. They're entities. I say entities, ETs, beings, other races, other, cultures. But in the fact that because we ain't them, we've not grown up in their culture. We don't know what, and so in that, it's okay to do this. It's what they're supposed to do. It's what they do in life, is create chaos and do this, so on the other side of this coin, the good guys, we're all about harmony and helping folks, and this, the other side is just exactly opposite. How much can we hurt? Somebody's going down the street, they'll stick a foot out and trip you. Okay. You know, there was a song years ago by a group uh, called Clyde. Oh, that Clyde. Um, if you think that you've got trouble and your trouble starts to double, you can bet your double bubble gum that's Clyde. Did you ever have a sunburned back and a fellow comes up and gives you a whack? Well, don't look over your shoulder, Jack. That's Clyde. So, and there were more lyrics to the song, but it was a cute song. But oh, that Clyde, he's a fellow that'll make you wish you died. And if you think that you've got trouble and your trouble starts to double, then you bet your double bubble gum that's Clyde. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway, nice little bass line. So, but the idea though that, you know, there are just some folks that will slap you on the back when you got a sunburn as to look at you, knowing it's going to hurt. You know, the folks that'll give somebody a wedgie and yank your underwear up, you know, and give you a knot in your crack. They just, you know, there's just no empathy. So these folks don't know what it is, their culture, their who they are, what they are, but they're not like us in that respect. They're not looking out for mankind. They want to see what they can destroy. So with that said, I think, you know, I'm doing this video without naming anything in the title that might like shove it out. But I honestly, you know, as I sat here and thought about it, and my angel self said, nah, you need to do a video about this and discuss it because, like I said, I would rather know, and I've been talking about this, that stuff's coming up. Been talking about it for several years, not to, you know, piss people off or to get people jumpy, but hey, there's some serious mess going on here. And I've even mentioned that some of these folks wanted to blow up the planet. So, you know, and now it seems like the negotiations are really hot and heavy. And for whatever reason, now it is tied into elections and some things here on the planet and other agendas that have been going on that many of us know about, and under the cover and what this and that and child trafficking and just the whole spiel. Okay. It's the bad guys. It's the two, you know, it's the Chicago mafia and the New York mafia. Okay. Or the mob out in Vegas, you know, they're all the mob and they'll all fight against the cops. But, you know, if Detroit or Chicago tries to move into Las Vegas, there's going to be a war. Okay. They're still all bad guys and they're still all the mob. You get me? So between the bad guys, that's what's going on. There's some, you know, shifting around and who's in what city and who's going to take care of what. Okay. But these folks have the ability to seriously mess up this planet and you and me. So I would say let's not be terrified about this, but let's damn sure be wary of this. And there are a lot of us who are going, we hope not. Okay. We're going to pray against this and try to send as much energy and whatever to whatever is needed into the universe to stop these crazy entities. Let them move on to some other planet where nobody lives or whatever. But see, to them, it just wouldn't be any fun. I mean, if you told the mob, hey, look, you know, we're going to give you this planet and it's got 2 moons and a couple of asteroids that go around, you know, we're going to give you this thing and a really nice, really nice part of the galaxy, you know, and this little solar system. But there's nobody there. And the mob's going to go, so what good is it to me? You know, well, they built something out in the desert in Las Vegas, but there was a lot of reason for that anyway. But the idea, though, that you want to trade the mob, the planet, with a bunch of people they can mess with, or you're going to say, well, here's this other alternative. So, you know, they're going to go, wait a minute. You want us to trade like even Steven? So think about the negotiations going on right now. Now, how do I know that it's true? Because it wakes me up in the middle of the night and I go, what the was that? What was that dream about? So how do I know that I believe that these folks are having this discussion, being woke up in the middle of the night with like what, or being not being able to go to sleep, which was the case the other day, because there was like incoming messages from the big giant head, and I was just like, what the hell does all this mean? So take a deep breath. What's going on? The bad guys against the good guys, which has been going on forever. And listen, it's not just the United States that would be affected. This, whatever these folks are planning on doing, they'll do it in South America. They'll do it in Italy. They'll do it in England. They'll do it in the US. They'll do it in China. This is not any particular group. Now, this is about mayhem and destruction. Now, they may have more of a predilection of wanting to blow up San Francisco versus Buenos Aires. But, you know, that's up to them. You know what I mean? Or Mexico City, or, you know, I mean, there are like 20 million people around Mexico City. And there are several big volcanoes. And what if they blew that sumbitch up? What if they just made that thing go off? And there, you know, that'd be that would do it, wouldn't it? So it doesn't necessarily need to be America that's affected. It's going to be around the planet, different places. And them guys, them bad guys up there, they got a map and they got X's on the map. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping, and for me, I don't have, I have groundwater, I have rainwater. So I haven't had any bottled water in quite some time. So if the good guys have been putting stuff in bottled water and in municipal drinking water to get folks inoculated, unbeknownst to them, but in case something like this did happen, then I'm going to be one of the first to go if it's biological. And I'm seriously been sitting here just discussing with myself, should I go buy a couple of bottles of each brand of bottled water and drink it, you know, as much as I'm against plastic. But if one of these companies has got the magic drop in it, I want some. But if not, then, you know, if I'm not inoculated, then I would probably be a prime candidate because I have well water and rainwater, and I would not have gotten the antidote. You follow me? So, but anyway, I could have got it in a store at the IHOP or someplace when you buy a soda, because there's waters and stuff mixed in. Who knows? But to the point, you know, supposedly lots of folks have been treated so that the good guys were going to try to minimize way ahead of time what the bad guys had planned. So what does all this mean? Well, if I am taken out, knock on wood, if I am taken out, then I want to have my spiritual self ready. You know what I mean? It ain't going to matter about whether or not my house is done or this or that, or, you know, what's going to matter is whether or not my spirit and my soul is ready to make the transition without a bumpy ride. And so whether or not this could or could not, well, now let's put it this way. It very well could happen because of my own internal information that I have received. And I keep getting confirmation, which scares the fuck out of me, quite frankly. You know, I get stuff and then I find out 2 days later, holy crap, that's what holy shit. So it scares the fuck out of me. I ain't going to lie to you. But at the same time, I'm glad that I'm allowed to have at least a premonition, not a premonition, but an understanding of what may come. So, I mean, if you know that you live near a railroad tracks and they're going to be hauling some, um, uh, toxic waste, and the train derails and the whole neighborhood gets messed up. Well, then, if you knew that something might happen along the railroad track, I'd move away from the railroad track. Okay, that's you know. So some of us can move, some of us can change things, but the biggest thing is if these crazy people try something. I mean, just think 9/11. Now, none of us believe that that was not prearranged. Those airplanes did not do that, period. So somebody else had some kind of something to dissolve those two buildings, right? If they can dissolve two buildings, think about it. Just think about it, okay? If they can dissolve two buildings, now it had help and stuff, but think about what other energy or whatever or something. So, can these folks pull something off? Yeah. So we've already seen what they can do and what they could do and what they have done. They're burning California. We've seen all the energy weapons and stuff out there. They've been directing storms. And there are beams going across. I see them down here on the radar down here in the southeast. Me being in Southwest Georgia, and there are these beams coming over near Valdosta. Well, there's Valdosta has Moody Air Force Base, so God knows what they got over at Moody. But then there's these other places that have other weapons and things down around here, Apalachicola, down around Panama City. There's big air bases down there. Thomasville, Georgia has an underground bunker down there. I'm seriously. And so it's like there are things, and then there's MacDill Air Force Base. So if you live in Tampa, get the F out, because they would love to nuke Tampa, uh, especially MacDill Air Force Base and what's under it. But anyway, because there's like back in the days of Vietnam, anything coming back from Vietnam was coming into Tampa to MacDill. It was Strategic Air Command, SAC. And then it was Tactical Air Command, TAC. So I don't know which it is now, but And same thing with the Moody Air Force Base over near Valdosta. And then there's Fort Stewart over near Savannah, and Fort Rucker over, just over the Alabama line, near Enterprise, Alabama. So, there are a lot of, and not to think about Fort Benning up there around Columbus, Georgia, but I'm far enough away from all of them, maybe, except maybe Moody Air Force Base. But the idea, though, that these crazy people, and they're not people, but you know what I mean, these crazy folk, we got to pray against this. I have no other weapon in my arsenal, if you will, other than awareness. And what would we say to our family, and say, listen, the Klingons want to dump a biological weapon on the planet. What do you think about that, Dad, or Mom, or brother, or sister, or kids? Hey, kids, the Klingons might try to destroy the Earth. What do you think about that? What? And that's basically what I'm saying, right? So will it happen? God knows. There's a bunch of us praying no. And there are a lot of entities that are trying to stop these crazy people. So if you see a bunch of spaceships blowing up over your head or in the skies before the end of the year, you'll know that they decide, that the peaceable solution could not be reached. You know what I mean? But that also means that if a peaceable solution could not be reached between these entities and those folks on planet Earth here, because some of them are Mater and some of them are Vlash hybrids, and those are the ones in government that are making some of this happen. And some of them folks are the ones that are arguing a bunch, within themselves. So, and it ain't just the United States, but, we know about our own politics more than somebody else. So is one guy better than the other? Only by a smidge. Okay. Only by a smidge. All right. One guy has more of a wants to keep the ruling class ruling, but he wants all the peons to have jobs so they can be ruled. Okay. Where the other side wants to just get rid of us and leave it up to the rich folk. So planet Earth would sort of become, in maybe 1,000 years, if the apocalypse were true in the Bible, after I kept thinking 1,000 years. Why 1,000 years? Well, if they put something on this planet, it might take 1,000 years for it to clear up. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever they decide to do. So, I'm trying my best to not make this oh my God, we're all going to die. But let's be frank about this. If these crazy folks get their way, so we'll see. But I thought to myself, should I share this information? Now, it was put out for public viewing, but is this something I should share? And I thought to myself, if one of you knew about this and were having the discussion with yourself whether or not to share it, I think I would rather know that something could very well be up in the woo-woo. And I would rather be aware of it, even if it meant that I was going to contact whatever that was and be my demise. At least I can say, well, I don't know what else I could do to make my spirit any higher or any more or whatever. But I'm just going to make sure it's really clear. I'm going to go down my list again of stuff that, that might be bothering me and make sure I try to keep in the positive of this, because whether it happens or not, I still need to have my soul and my spirit ready. I'm getting to be an old man here, and so my days are numbered simply because of my age. But it could be another 20 years, which I'm kind of hoping for. I want to be the 88th monkey, so I want to make it to 88 at least. Anyway, inside joke, right? So, but anyway, I don't want you all to panic about this. I know I panicked. I for 30 minutes I was sitting here like, come on, Hart, Loretta, I'm coming to you. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Loretta, but from Fred Sanford. Elizabeth, I think it was. But anyway, but to the point though, I think I would rather know ahead of time. And then if something does happen, I could say, well, son of a bitch, they was right. And in whatever way I can have my mind prepared, I can have whatever if it hits the big cities or whatever, and I'm stuck down here in the woods like I am now, a whole lot ain't going to change up to a point. So, what do we do? I think we just keep it together, Hi, Alex, how are you? Now I'm going to put my glasses on, light a cigarette, have some coffee. Thank you, Bob, and see what y'all's reactions are. I really didn't want to do this video. I really didn't, but they were kicking my tail saying, listen, you got to Sanford and Son. Yes. Elizabeth. Thank you. Who was that did that? Hi, Brandy. Scratch, Deborah, Slightly Slanted. Let me go back up here a little ways. Hi, Fox Rodriguez. How are you? Brandy Robinson. I'm Peter Pan. I am whoever I say I am, seasoned soul with a sense of humor. Good, Brandy. Absolutely. Remember the planets lined up on that day as a cross? Yeah, I'm doing something you can count on it. Let me go back up. You guys will see what I'm doing. David Castle says, I have a baby brown dragon that visits me in my lucid dreams sometimes. Haven't seen the mother or father yet. Don't really wish to, but the baby is kind of cool. I was born in the year of the dragon, so I'm a water dragon, by the way. Slightly Santa said, what we are doing other than making people feel hopeless and helpless. I mean, if we keep talking and not doing, it doesn't benefit anyone except them. Except for them. Oh, Deborah, I got carded today because I wanted to buy cigarettes. It's a Dollar General's policy to card everyone. And I gave the lady my I always have my driver's license ready. She looked at me and she goes, I think you were born in 52 and laughed. She's like about a third my age, I have been visited by dragons in strange ways. Not that you asked me, but they come in the form of dragonflies. And as the dragonfly says in the book, that the dragons were so arrogant and narcissistic, and someone dared them to turn themselves into an insect kind of thing, and they did, and then didn't change back. So, but in this about the woo-woo, I know some of the things that I was feeling myself when I saw them in the news myself, or, on certain channels. I, just about shit a brick, because I was like, crap. I hate it when I'm right. So, other woo-woo that may happen is that for whatever reason, they like this time of year to create havoc. And so it could be a couple of storms. It could be a this or a that. But here's the deal. One of the things that was said that was assured between now and the end of the year, somewhere on this planet, there's going to be a catastrophic event. And remember that tidal wave that happened over the Christmas holidays that year down in Sri Lanka or whatever, and killed all those people and stuff? How crazy was that? It could be something similar, it could be a volcano going off. It could be whatever, but the basic line is the crazy ones are going to do something because they've already planned it, and they're just not going to walk away without doing at least something. We're going to throw a baseball at you, but it could be the size of an asteroid. So, but anyway, I don't want this to be alarming to anyone. But for me to feel it, see it in my dreams, and then have it come out in the open, I was like, holy shit. So I have to share this. I have to tell other folks about this. Now, this is not the video that I intended to do about the riders on horseback, but I will give you a glimpse of what this dream was back in vision in 2013. So I was taken in my dream out to the plains of Montana, out there to the big sky country. And it was near, because I've been there personally, it was near where Wounded Knee and Custer and all that kind of stuff up in that area of Montana. And I was standing on a hill overlooking the vastness of those prairies, plains, and everything. If you haven't been out there, you just wouldn't get it. I mean, I didn't get it till I went out there. So it's just amazing. And so standing on on this little rise, okay, that's higher than the others, and there's a little dip and then another rise again. But then I could see off in the distance as well, another little hill. They're not mountains, they're hills, but there's a bunch of them. And depending on which one you're on, you can see for miles and miles and miles and miles. Okay. So it's beautiful. So I'm standing there and I turn to my left, and beside me is grandfather. Now I could say it's creator, but I'm going to say it's grandfather because he looked like a grandfather, as in tribal tradition. Okay, very simply dressed, and he said Hawkeye, because I looked up and like, what am I doing here? And he said, look off into the distance. Okay, so I look off into the distance, and coming over that furthest rise are these are clouds like you see in the movies, right? And it's horses. And they go down this little dip and then come up the next rise, which is much closer to us. And the riders come up, and then I can tell that they're braves on horseback, and there are 5 of them. And so they come up to this second rise, which, distance wise was about maybe 50 yards away. So 1 minute I'm standing next to grandfather, and the next instant, well, hang on. The riders come up to this second ridge closest to us. And the brave in the middle motions to the other 2 on his right. He points, and the riders go off. He turns to his left and he says something, he points, and they ride off. In each of the 4 directions, okay? So the next thing I know, it's after they ride off, the next thing I know, I'm standing beside the brave and his horse. And the next thing I know, he's standing beside me. I didn't see him get down. And I mean, I'm like, he's on the horse, and I'm looking at him on the horse. And the next thing I know, he's standing next to me. And I'm like, how did you do that? And so then I said, why am I here? And he said, because you are to see what it has to happen. And I was like, okay, what has to happen? And he pointed to the east, and he said, in the east, there are those who have mistreated Mother Earth and have mistreated mankind, and those that have, will suffer. And they're to the south, and as he pointed, I could see where I was here, but then there was this little tunnel vision, and I could see off in the distance, and there was, fires and raging and screaming and gnashing of teeth. Oh my God. And then there's to the west, there are people there that did, should have done better. They mistreated children, and and they must all pay and suffer and repay. And to the north, there are those. And so as he pointed in each direction, there was this zoom point of view, right? And I could see the riders coming at me. Now, here's the most peculiar part of this observation. As the horses got closer, all of the people, and I mean the wailing and the gnashing of teeth, as it says in the Bible, oh my God, I know exactly the terror and the horror and the screaming. There are times when I can't block it out of my head. It's so horrible. And so, but as they got closer, I could see the horses. The people's hair were tied to the horse's tail. Now, remember that important fact. So as they got closer, there's all these people, and they're screaming, and there's only their heads, and they're long, infinite lines of people with their hair tied onto the back of the horses. And so as the 4 riders start to merge with where I'm standing, and by the way, the 4 braves that went off in the 4 directions were on painted ponies. Okay, they were like black and with white, and and painted ponies is what I had in my head. So then, but as I'm standing there, off in the distance, which I think would have been north, comes this white horse with this beautiful Indian princess, and I mean in the most extreme sense of the word, dressed in all white buckskin, not fancy, but all white buckskin. And she rides up and gets on, and next Here's the black horse, here's the white horse, two horses this way and two horses coming this way. And she comes up and she's got this large leather bound book, okay? And she just is on the horse and then she's not on the horse. And the next thing I know, as she gets, I mean, she just was not on the horse. I was back standing beside grandfather. She got holding this big, large book. She handed it over to the brave who was on the black horse. Okay. And she said, the payment is done and the book is fulfilled. And he, onto the black horse, reared it up, and the five of them drove off with all these people and beings and screaming and everything riding off. And the lady in white then was on the black horse. And she looked over towards me and said, Mother Nature, the energy of Mother Nature has been taken. And to keep the balance, that which was taken must be given. She said, and the seal is done. And she turned around and rode off. And grandfather looked down at me and he said, this is what is to come. And the next thing I know, I wake up going, holy shit. So now I've known about this dream for a long time, right? And I've sort of spoke about it, and I really wanted to give a little bit more detail. But here's the weird part about this, in that there's a lot to be said about the black and white and the fact that they switched horses. So not only did she say the deed was paid for, but so he rode in on darkness and rode out with the light. And so the princess, which I considered, you know, a representative of Mother Earth, you know, rode off on the black horse, which is the dream world, not necessarily evil, but the dream world. And to like Mother Earth and the dream world, the energies, black and white, yin and yang, was together again. The balance had been set. He was just a brave. He wasn't in black or white. He was just a brave without a shirt, just a brave. Headband with a feather. You know, nothing fancy. I think he had an armband or something, you know, with leather on his left arm, kind of thing. There are certain details that I can just see them after all these years. It's just as clear as a bell. Now, here's to the really creepy part. I was telling this story to a shaman, and I said, "What do you know about the hair and the horse's tail?" And he looked at me and he turned white and he went, "What?" And I said, "The people's hair were tied in with the horse's tail." And he goes, where have you learned that? How do you know that, Dave? Before I sort of officially became Hawkeye. And I said, listen, you know, Wolf, I said, I saw it in the dream. I saw it in this vision, and it was very clear. You know, people's hair was tied into the tail of the horse. And he literally started shaking, and he goes, how do you come up with this stuff? How do you know, because we'd been through some other things that he swore, he said, you've had to have been taught this because of other things in the shaman area. And I said, no. And he goes, well, you got it almost all correct. You only got like one or two things, and they're just like really minor. So here I hit him with this thing about the hair and the tails. And he said, here's the story. He said, back in the old days, he said, they would take, if someone in the tribe, or maybe it was a neighboring tribe or whomever, that had done some really honest to God heinous, you know, not just kill, or I mean, but like, you know, rape a child. I mean, something just really just not good. That they would take them and bind their hands behind them and sometimes their feet, and then tied their hair to the tail of what they considered a dun horse. In other words, it was a horse that had been through battle, and basically all it was good for was hauling stuff. And they would tie this person's hair to the tail of the horse, and just whip him until the horse ran off, and that a lot of times there would be nothing but the lower torso, that the horse would run through brambles and sticks and rocks and stuff and literally drag the person to death, along with not being able to have food. They would just leave them there until they died, and then they would cut them free from the horse. And he said, "So you saw this in your dream?" And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Nobody's supposed to know that." And I went, "What do you mean?" He said, "Have you ever heard any white people tell that story about the dun horses and the hair?" And I went, "No." And he said, "Well, out west, because he was raised up around the Lakotas and the Sioux and up in that area. So he said, that's just one of those stories that is like intertribal. And with all the other folks that I had met, now I had these dreams after I was on the powwow circuit. So I didn't have a chance to follow up with some of the old folks that I knew to see if any of that part of that story was true. And but here's the thing: when I saw his face turn white, and he was literally trembling and visibly shaking, he was like, that's just like a secret. We just don't talk about that. He said, but that's what they did in the old days. So I see what's happening now. And, there's earthquakes, there's the fires, and the wailing and gnashing of teeth. I did a video about the earth that down in Guatemala, that volcano that erupted. I had been looking at that volcano just hours before it went off. And I went back after it went off, and all those places, there was a golf course, there was this and that and resorts and stuff that I was looking at. No reason why, except Spirit said, go get on Google Earth and look around this area. And the next morning, that volcano had went off and killed all those people down there. So there are times when, for me, they give me these hints, they show me these things, and then shit happens. And it will literally scare the crap out of me, or just like, now, what the hell was that? Well, now you folks have known me long enough. And so I'm telling you these things because now that this has come up, it's like, I think it's time to continue this discussion a little bit and discuss the prophecy thing. So, but what I've learned about the prophecy, and it really makes sense. The reason for the book is the book of life and the payments, and Dante even has the book of life and the book of knowledge. And so, but here's the thing: in that, we as human beings have done our best, mostly, to take from Mother Earth. Not everybody, but the industrialists, and we talk about it, and then there's the people who just don't care. Well, I don't care where electricity comes from. I don't care that fish are dying. I don't care where my chicken comes from, as long as I got, my barbecued wings on Sundays, for the football game. They raise them around here. So I care. I care about all the pollution from the chicken farms that are around here, and what it's doing to the rivers and so forth. Nobody seems to give a shit, but okay. And it's toxic in its own respect. But, so we have been, as human beings, have been wreaking havoc upon Mother Earth for a long time, without regard to the energy that, I don't mean, gas or natural gas or oil. I mean the energy from Mother Earth. And so my thought after all these years what, 8 or 9 years now? 2013, 14, 17 years, going on 18. But so 17 years, I've had this dream in my head. 7 years, excuse me. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, 7 years. And the idea that was put me through all the angel messages and so forth was that we need to get our energy level up. And as I see it myself, it's that for those of us who wake up, for those of us who can see that we've been doing harm to Mother Earth, we can change our evil, wicked, mean, and nasty ways and start putting energy back in the earth and start sending good vibes and so forth to the planet, universe, etc. So that's why, some people say, I sent that, negative energy down to Mother Earth. No, you don't. Ground yourself and send it up into space. Mother Earth's got enough negative. She needs more positive. And so what this dream vision to me is that some of these people will die a horrible, nasty death. There ain't no other way to put it. So in trying to be positive about these things, I have seen, I want you to understand, and you know me well enough to know that when I say that I could hear the wailing and gnashing of teeth, I've seen movies, I've seen all kinds of stuff. Nothing compares to that what was in that dream, that vision. And I think to myself and hope to myself, that's why I'm always praying for the positive on this. I don't want that to happen. I, just don't. But there have been incidences that I have seen in the news, bombings, fires, this, that, and the other thing recently that were like flashes of that vision, of that prophetic vision. To me, it was prophetic. Because I've seen flashes of what was in the distance taking place now with pictures on TV and video and so forth. And it's so freaking real to me. When I see the picture, I go, crap, that's what I saw. Holy shit, the volcano going off. Holy crap, So in that respect, being a visionary is really tough. It hurts. I feel the anguish of these people. And in some ways, I have felt the anguish of some of these people for the last 7 years. So, but I'm going to continue to pray to the positive. The last thing I want to do is try to warn y'all that, hey, but listen, we all know that there's some weird shit going on and that we need to keep our stuff together. We need to have our spiritual stuff together. Quit worrying about the next guy, because if they do something really large, like they have been planning, and a lot of us have been warning, and they decide to do it this year so they can meet their quota of Agenda 21, there won't be any need for FEMA camps. There's going to be, if there's anybody around to bury us, if that's what they decide. So I say this, don't put it in your nightmares, because it's been in mine for the last 7 years, and it has not been fun. It has been in my waking dreams. It's not been fun. So, with all the death and destruction that I've seen in here, and I don't want to talk about that shit. I just don't. But right now, it seems that because it was so openly put out there for those of us who watch Dante, hey, this is kind of what's going on. Think you ought to know. So I think it's my duty as your friend to say, here's what the current scoop is, okay? Let's pray that this shit don't happen, because man, oh man, I've seen what they have planned, in the dream state thingy, that vision. I do not want that to happen. No way. So when you hear me asking about, accept and receive and pray and so forth, if you knew the pictures and the things that I've seen in my head, you'd be praying too. And that was the reason I started this channel. And October the 2nd was an anniversary. Oh, hey, Pamela, the asteroid is not in my control. Focus on the better outcome. Yeah, pray, believe, accept, and ask the universe. Maverick says, we are what we eat, and what we ingest mentally, physically, and spiritually is what we believe. What you believe will be your life. Yep. Fox says, we all must visualize the richest, most vibrant love of total liberation and safety. Yep. But here's the bottom line to what these clowns are doing, though. They can do us some serious harm. Now, just think 9/11, but like I said, I ain't trying to scare you, but yeah, there are a lot of folks that are doing some stuff in the I'm calling it my avatar dream, because there's a distinct difference. And there's been some things that happened in my avatar state that just, holy crap. Now, I have been a mediator, and I have been before large groups in interplanetary discussions. I have seen great rooms of thousands of beings as someone to be a mediator for peace. I can't prove that I have been there, but the lucid dreaming and waking up and remembering the entire speech, right afterwards, and going, holy crap, I knew that speech like verbatim. I didn't, it's interesting. It's time for more group meditation. Maverick, I think that is very true. I will agree to that. This is Tuesday or Wednesday now. Let's see what we can do for the weekend kind of thing. Give me a couple of days. But I absolutely agree with you, Maverick. I think it is time for another group meditation. Thank you, Maverick. I agree. Delaney says the planet will not be destroyed and a remnant will survive the destruction. Some places will not be destroyed. I agree, Delaney. Not everything's going to get mowed down, but there's going to be, if they get their way, okay, let's be perfectly clear with this. We got some good folks trying to, step in and stop this mess. So, but I mean, as a 72 plus, for those who understand that, we're all working towards some kind of good. And, I've not been in more in this reality. I feel that I have been in more in several previous lives. And I can say this much. If we were in the trenches in World War I and somebody warned us that they were going to be throwing mustard gas at us, that would give us the opportunity to put our mask on. You know what I mean? So the potential for mustard gas. Everybody got your gas mask? Okay. Everybody ready? Yeah. We don't want this to happen, but So in that, I find it curious that they started this 19 business with everybody in a mask, and that's one of the weapons they intend to use. So, and thinking this out a little bit, what have they been saying here for the last month or two? There's going to be another wave. There is? Well, what do you mean? Well, we're all looking around going, come on. But there are those who've been talking about, well, we've gone through this, but there's going to be a mutation and there's going to be another wave of this. Is that their way of warning us of what their true intentions are? We might not have to wait to be vaccinated. That might be too late. But to the point of Delaney, yeah, I think the idea of blowing up the planet just didn't go well with a lot of people. And so, but the idea that they will bring destruction upon the planet to the people who live here, oh yeah, that's very possible. Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think the planet's going to get blowed up. Although to some of us, we'll think it's that. Let's see. Wait. Um, Fox says, bottom line is this. Bottom line, this is a war I really wish to fight against. Fox, we are fighting. I know you're thinking against it. You're praying for the best. So we may be sitting on the bench, as I've talked about before, but we still have a purpose. I've built this one life and I truly will give it up if the cause is further fulfilled. I love you all too much. I agree. That's why I'm doing this video. It's definitely a war. Yes, Pamela. Yeah, Pamela. Humanity was born since 2011. Yep. Where's my mouse thingy? Y'all realize we are peaceful in this fight. There is another way. It will happen with no effort on our part. No weapon raised against you can harm you. Pamela says, Other Earth is not feeling the love. Yeah. And, you know, it's hard with all this chaos going on, you know, to stay in the love thought, you know. Well, there's this, and you go to the store, and the people are there, and blah, 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 and this and that. And certain sections of the country are wrapping themselves in, you know, saran wrap, for God's sakes. But the interesting thing is, as many of us have known for a long time, you know, and I think the vision dream that I had was that, you know, energy taken must be returned. And it's the yin and the yang of the universe. And whether it was the way the dream put it was, it's not necessarily good or evil. It's that there was an evil done and energy was taken without consideration of giving it back. And so it's a balance. And it's like, well, how many souls must die or suffer in order to pay the to pay the planet back for the wrong that it was done to her, you know? And it's like, that's, you know, holy crap, right? So, but I can understand it from an energy point of view, in that what, you know, things have got to equal out. And if it goes too far one way, there's only one thing to do, and that's to try to equalize that balance out. So I don't know if this is prophecy in that Mother Earth is going to do this, or that somebody else is going to do it for her, or that it has nothing to do with her in particular, and other people are going to make it feel that way. It's just strange. Delaney says, I plan to survive this thing. I was told years ago that I would be one of those few, but we'll see. And I kind of wonder, like, scratch my head and why. But there, to that other point, though, I have a lot of tools and I have a lot of knowledge about a lot of weird shit, you know. And so it might be that my technical advice will be necessary in building things, or, you know, or fixing or repairing machines or things. So a good night at Candy Apple. Got to get some rest. Yeah, until next time. Delaney says, I kind of created a peaceful haven in my city. It's super peaceful. Good, honestly. Pamela, Burning Man burned the divine feminine and divine masculine. I'm so pissed off. Oh, yeah. Maverick, when we get home, we can go back to that way of being here, where we are just observers. We are witnesses to the spectacle. It's the jack of all trade types who will be most necessary. I agree, Maverick. Pamela says, like I said, I stopped the volcanoes and earthquakes. Asteroid not in my control. I don't think they're going to let an asteroid hit, but that's just my 10 cents. Literally, my whole city is being repaired and improved. So many jobs. Good, Delaney. But see, that's what's going on down here. But them crazies up there, they don't really give a shit about that, honestly. So we have to, yeah, quiet observers. We have to, there are things that are going on down here too that are like, there are a lot of positive things happening. But I think that's one of the things that's got them pissed off is that we're recovering and we're not supposed to. We're supposed to be a bunch of moronic idiots, following their every control, and we're not doing it, And there are other factions that, despite their efforts, humanity is resilient, damn it, you know? And so we have learned to adapt to a lot of situations. And what have I been talking about? It's all about adapting. And we have been adapting, not necessarily evolving, but we have been adapting. But to this, though, I say that it is out of our control in that if them idiots up yonder decide to push that button, all we can do is just kind of hold our breath and hope for the best, that we have had some of that elixir that the good guys have been trying to get to us. So, but, stuff happens. And, the warnings that I've been having about earthquakes and volcanoes, it could be that that's my angel side trying to explain what other entities want to do to the planet. Not necessarily that Mother Earth is going to do it on her own, but that others might create it. Humanity is tired of fighting. They're tired of fighting the idiocy. If people just went, back in the day, people had jobs. I had 2 jobs. I could work one in the weekend, work some overtime. There was work everywhere. If I lost one job, I could get another one in less than 2 weeks. And but it's just not the same around here anymore. All the things that have moved out. So, like I said, I'm all for the Trump idea of getting manufacturing and stuff back in the United States. And that's so they can control us Americans better. I don't care. Better than that, than everybody working at Walmart, you know what I mean? Or at Shoney's or something. So, because for any society to exist, we got to have shoes and clothes and certain things, right? Got to have food. So there's always going to be a need for jobs, doing things to help keep the rest of us alive. I mean, so bartering and trading and everything, and all of that can, the face of that can be changed. But to just simply want to destroy humanity just because they can, or they want to, or they got some ancient grudge against us down here. We can be protected from a lot of stuff, but we may not be protected from that. Fingers crossed, okay? Yes, Michelle, they underestimate the abominable human spirit. Yep. Maverick says, Scratch, just don't think they have a chance to get the real survivors among us. And you are a survivor. Yep. I know what you're saying, Maverick. It's a nice thought, but I'm in no fit state to do anything really. Breathing is more of an effort than I really need. Understood about that. I agree with you, David. They don't stand a chance against us. It won't turn out the way they wish. It's already that way. That's why they want to go to this excessive extreme. Things were supposed to have already progressed, and it hasn't. That's I think the point of this warning that's like out right now. So I'm going to say, listen, I'm going to stay strong. And, can I, go out in a sword fight or whatever and do that? No, but I could bandage folks up and I can do some other things and I can be here on the sidelines and do whatever I can with my old 68-year-old self. I have not given up, and if I need to fight some more, then I'm going to ask Creator to give me the strength and the breath to do whatever I need to do. And that's it. And we are resilient in that. The human populace, you know, they can beat us down, but they can't beat us. We keep coming back. So breathing is an effort. So is blinking. That's I like that, Maverick. Larry, my vision is the true new Green Deal is hemp products of everything, all green, made of green. That would be nice. Deborah says, come on, Scratch, you're supposed to be here and have us as much right to share your uniqueness as the stars do to shine. Yep, there you go. We have a right to have our point of view. But anyway, so that's the latest in the woo-woo world and how it corresponds to some of the things that I have seen, heard, witnessed, however you want to put it. And how's this all tied together? Well, we got to stay strong. We can't, give up the fight, however it comes down. And keep our prayers in the positive. But, in a way, this was shocking news and it pissed me off. And then I'd be scared. And I was like, no, I need to do a video. We're going to discuss this in public. And here's the deal. And here's what here's what these idiots are thinking. Okay. So let's see if we can't change that train of thought among however we do it. So Shine Bright says, Maverick, don't play small for this world. Let folks around you come up to your level. Stop going down to theirs. Yep. And here's the thing. We can't save everybody. But those folks that we can reach out a hand to, absolutely. But if they don't want to take our hand, if they're like, well, I don't know, then we don't have time for that. And that's not to be rude. We have to make sure that we are strong. I have just enough energy to type these days. That's about it. I have a pretty bad oxygen deficiency, which also relates to blood oxygen levels, which means no energy. Scratch, let's all send some prayers to Scratch. May your breathing increase and get better, and your lung capacity increase by 20% at least, because if you're having trouble breathing, 20% would be really good, wouldn't it? So let's all send a good message out to Scratch. Hey, Creator, help our friend Scratch to breathe easier and better. And may today, tomorrow, and the next day be even better. So thank you all. It's been an hour and a half. Okay, enough yakking. All right. I know that even Scratch, it may be enough that all you can do is type, but you've still got the energy to send a prayer. And we will all send prayers to you in that you will help to be able to breathe better. In fact, I was going to do a video, and I still might, called The Old and the Breathless, instead of the young and the bold and the beautiful. Anyway, it was going to be a take on why don't they make a daytime drama about old people, instead of the bold and the beautiful, the young and the restless. So mine was going to be the old and the breathless. There are 10 people in the emergency ward, and grandma and grandpa's having a fight about the grandkids or something. Who knows? But anyway, I was going to do a little bit of a parody, and then this come up. So Maverick, maybe I was thinking about you, the old and the breathless. So anyway, me and my crazy, weird, line of thinking, but something to try to lighten the load, because I've had issues with breathing too, as I put out my cigarette a few minutes ago. I do what I can. I can always have. Yep. Keep going, Scratch. Pamela, don't wear the mask. It's part of the agenda. Agreed, Pamela. I only wear it when it's necessary. George, your mind is sharp as a razor. That knowledge is needed, brother. Thank you. Had to look it up. Okay. Smoking since I was 9. You damn straight I'm breathless. I could listen to Dave all night. Thank you, Scratch. Yeah, much love, brother. Agreed. But yeah, just, having this thought and that thought, and like, you know, the strange thing for me though is really basically the dreams that I've had and the visions. I mean, they're just so vivid and downright scary. And then to see things unfold after these 7 years of having the dreams and these other little visions, like the whatever that was the other day, and then learning about it today, that, yep, whoops, how, whoa, man, okay. So, for me, that's just creepy. I'm after all these years, I'm still not used to it. But there have been several things that have happened in the news that I had 2 or 3 days ago, a thought about. And then I read through the headlines and go, whoop, there it is. There's that subject, some bitch. And there's something, 2 or 3 days, and then 2 or 3 days down the line, or maybe the next day, boom, there it is in the news or somewhere on the internet, or, it's in the headlines. So, that happens to me all the time, but a lot of times it's just little messages, like little hints here and there, like, it's sort of like to make sure that my phone line is still hooked up. They'll give me this little message and then it'll show up and I go, well, I guess that was true. So I can believe my spirit guide. It keeps my faith in my connection good. So that's what it means to me. But in the long sense scheme of things, I got to tell you though, at times it creeps me out. It really does. There's no other way to put it. I have not gotten used to it. I don't know if I ever will get used to it. But I guess I'm more used to it now because it's happened just so much more frequently. So, but it's when really important things happen and they show up in dreams, yeah, it still creeps me out. I don't know what else to say about it. It just still creeps me out. Now, somebody out there wants me to do a card. And I thought about it before I did this video. And so whoever out there is thinking cards, I got them right here. And I do kind of think it would be appropriate to do cards. I'm doing a little shuffle, mumble, shuffle right now. But to all of you, my friends and neighbors, I sincerely hope that these crazy folks don't make it, And if it means a war in space, I volunteer. I'll go, take me. If it means that whatever I have left of my energy in my life, that if I can spare this planet, I've lived here long enough, I would absolutely volunteer. I already have. That's why I'm doing this video. But I've already volunteered as a warrior for creator. I've talked about it before in my videos over the years, and I just think to myself how blessed I am to have you as friends and for you to be here and that we can share these things. So here I've shuffled the cards several times while I was sitting here yakking at you. And now I'm just going to see what needs to be pulled. And I shuffled them really good too. Okay. So now I've got them here in my hands and I'm just thumbing through as I normally do and just trying to, okay, pick a card, any card. So Spirit's saying down towards the bottom of the deck, this card. All right, whoops. And I dropped it. Now I don't know which it was, up or down. Dragonfly. Holy crap. Were we just talking to who was talking about dragons? I swear to God, dragonfly. You see? Was just talking about dragonflies. The cards are telling me they want one more. You want me to pull the next card? Okay. Turtle. I was thinking about turtle today, actually. There was a That's interesting. So I pulled two cards, and an upside down badger. We'll see. But I pulled two cards for sure. The bottom card was just, they said, flip up the bottom. Okay. But let's go with turtle. I've talked about dragonfly before. I've not, to my recollection, read about turtle, at least not online. So number 10 is the number of the card, and we'll see what turtle has to say for us. And dragonfly, I mean, of all the cards, there's 40 something cards, 44 cards. And of all those cards are shuffling, you know, what we were talking about, dragonfly comes out as the top card. Interesting. Whoa, turtle. Mother Earth. Turtle, great mother, feed my spirit, clothe my heart, that I may serve you too. Turtle, Mother Earth. What I was talking about the Braves, and you know, that Mother Earth, the energy of Mother Earth. Here we go. In Native American teachings, turtle is the oldest symbol for planet Earth. It is the personification of goddess energy and the eternal mother from which our lives evolve. We are born of the womb of Earth, and to her soil our bodies will return. In honoring the Earth, we are asked by Turtle to be mindful of the cycle of give and take, to give back to the mother as she has given to us. Now, what did I just say about the dream? That there was an equal. What was taken from Mother Earth had to be given back. This is in the first freaking paragraph. I'm freaking out again, okay? Turtle has a shell which is similar to the protection that Earth has employed for centuries as her body has been defiled. Mother Earth's protection has come in the form of earth changes, new plant growth, the creation of new land masses by volcanoes, and climate alterations. Like Turtle, you also have shields that protect you from hurt, envy, jealousy, and the unconsciousness of others. Turtle teaches you through its habit patterns how to use protection. If you are bothered by the actions or words of others, it is time to go inside yourself and honor your feelings. If you are attacked, it is time to give a warning snap. If you have chosen the turtle symbol, you are being asked to honor the creative source within you, to be grounded to the earth, and to observe your situation with motherly compassion. Use the water and earth energies, which represents Turtle's two homes, to flow harmoniously with your situation and to place your feet firmly on the ground in a power stance. Turtle is a fine teacher of the art of grounding. I was talking about grounding and sending the energy up. Anyway, you may even be able to overcome some of your space cadet tendencies if you align with Turtle medicine. In learning to ground, you are placing focus on your thoughts and actions and slowing to a pace that assures completion. Turtle warns of the dangers of pushing the river, as evidenced by the plodding pace that a turtle keeps. The corn that is harvested before its time is not yet full. However, it is given the chance to develop at its own rate in its own season. Its sweetness will be shared by all. Turtle buries its thoughts, like its eggs, in the sand and allows the sun to hatch the little ones. This teaches you to develop your ideas before bringing them out in the light. Look at the old fable of the tortoise and the hare and decide for yourself whether or not you would like to align with Turtle. Bigger, stronger, and faster are not always the best ways to get to a goal. When you arrive, you may be asked where you've been, and you may not be able to remember. In that case, arriving prematurely can make you feel very immature. Trying to skip dimensions, y'all? If you draw the turtle card, it assures a time of connecting with the power of the earth and the mother goddess within. This is a reminder of the ally you have in Mother Earth. It does not matter what situation you have created, but ask for her assistance and abundance will follow. Now, contrary. Now, I pulled the card straight up, but pulling the turtle card in reverse means that Mother Earth is calling you to reconnect in some way. If you have become flippant and forgotten to place waste in its proper place instead of throwing it out the car window, she is calling you. If you have felt alone in your time of need, she is calling. If you have been struggling financially or have little to eat, or if you have desired a child and have no pregnancy in the near future, she is your medicine. Use it. You are not alone, ever. You are a child of earth. All acts of pleasure, joy, and abundance are given by Mother of the creative force. Use her energy to aid you, and you will be healed enough to share this energy with others. I'm always praying, you know, accept, receive, and share. The idea of a turtle helplessly trying to right itself, either it has flipped upside down, can also symbolize contrary turtle. You are not a victim and you are not helpless, no matter how much it may seem like this is the case in your present situation. To right the ill dignifying turtle, you need only list the things you are grateful for. And from that grateful place in your heart, look for the abundance of alternative that Mother Earth gives. Now, there was just a lot of stuff in there that I had been talking about. That's just crazy weird. Makes me shiver. It does. I'll tell you what. Now, Dragonfly, we've read Dragonfly before. It keeps coming up. But it came up in our conversation tonight, which is like out of all these cards, these are the two I picked. Dragonfly, illusion. Dragonfly breaks illusions, brings visions of power. No need to prove it. Now is the hour. Know it, believe it. Great Spirit intercedes, feeding you, blessing you, filling all your needs. Dragonfly medicine is of the dream time. We were talking about that, right? And the illusionary facade we accept as physical reality. In other words, I think David Castle was talking about seeing a dragon in dreams. So here it is, the dream time and the illusionary facade we accept as physical reality. The iridescence of dragonfly's wings reminds us of colors not found in our everyday experience. Dragonfly's shifting of color, energy, form, and movement explodes into the mind of the observer, bringing vague memories of a time or place where magic reigned. Some legends say that Dragonfly was once dragon, as I was saying, and that dragon had scales like dragonfly's wings. Dragon was full of wisdom and flew through the night, bringing light with its fiery breath. The breath of dragon brought forth the art of magic and the illusion of changing form. Then dragon got caught in its own facade. Coyote tricked dragon into changing form, and the shape of its new body became like dragonflies. In accepting the challenge to prove its power and magical prowess, dragon lost its power. Dragonfly is the essence of the winds of change, the messages of wisdom and enlightenment, and the communications from the elemental world. This elemental world is made up of the tiny spirits of plants and of the elements of air, earth, fire, and water. In essence, this world is full of native natural creatures. If Dragonfly has flown into your cards today, you may have forgotten to water your plants. On another level, you may need to give thanks to the foods you eat for sustaining your body. On the psychological level, it may be time to break down the illusions you have held that restrict your actions or ideas. Dragonfly medicine always beckons you to seek out the parts of your habits which you need to change. Have you put too much weight, or have you started to look like a scarecrow? Have you tended to the changes you have wanted to make in your life? In other words, if you want to become an artist, did you buy some paper and pencil? Have you started doodling yet? Anyway, if you feel the need for change, call on Dragonfly to guide you through the mist of illusion to the pathway of transformation. That's what I've been talking about. We're all going to go through a transformation. Dragonfly keeps showing up. See how you can apply the art of illusion to your present question or situation. And remember that things are never completely as they seem. We all know that. And Dragonfly is reminding us. Now, I dropped the card, so I don't know whether it came straight up or upside down. So I'm going to read. I always read the contrary anyway, but I don't know which way it actually was pulled. Are you trying to prove yourself or to someone else that you have power? Are you caught in an illusion that weakens your true feelings or minimizes your abilities? If so, you may have contracted Dragonfly dive bombing. Is this the final crash and burn for some pipe dream that has no real purpose? Look within and feel the sense of self-energy within yourself. Notice if it is ebbing, and find the point in which you were deluded into believing that you would be happier if you changed because someone else wanted you to. There are folks out there I know that this is like, hoo-hoo. Misery is a prime clue that you lost your will and personal validity when you bought into someone else's idea of who or what you should be. The illusion was that you would be happier if you did it their way. In forfeiting what you know is right or feel in your heart and true for you personally, you give away your power. It is time you take it back. Follow Dragonfly to the place inside your body where magic is still alive and drink deeply of its power. The strength belongs to you. It is the power of becoming the illusion. This ability is ever changing and contains within it the knowledge that you are creating it all. Some might say manifesting. Now, the third card in when I usually pull three cards is number 29, and wow, just 2 pages off the Dragonfly, and it's Badger. And I don't know if I've ever read Badger, but here we go. Number 29, Badger, aggressiveness. And it's upside down. Badger, 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 until you reach your goal, know the inner power that lives in your soul. Badger is vicious and attacks with powerful aggression. Badger is quick to anger and quicker to pounce. The power of the badger's medicine is aggressiveness and the willingness to fight for what it wants. Now, maybe they're telling us we need to fight for what we want. Just saying. The very thought of facing Badger makes other animals run for cover. Like skunk, Badger's reputation precedes it. Its hissing fangs will tear less aggressive opponents to shreds. Badger is the medicine of many powerful medicine women. For Badger is also the keeper of the medicine roots. Badger sees all the roots of Mother Earth's healing herbs hanging in its burrow at home. These roots are the key to aggressive healing. These roots are the key to aggressive healing. Roots can be ground negative energy into the earth by allowing illness to pass through the body into the ground as neutral energy. Badger medicine people are quick to act in a crisis and they do not panic. Now, that's one thing I've said right on. We don't need to panic about this, but we do need to be aware. If Badger is part of your medicine, you are quick to express your feelings and you do not care what the consequences are. And I would say, be careful there. Badger people oftentimes insist on carrying the ball for the touchdown. This attitude, however, does not endear them to their teammates. They do not play well. Badger medicine may also point to the aggressive healer who will have the courage to use unconventional means to extract a cure. Like the mother who sits for days nursing a child with a high fever, Badger is willing to persist. So in these things that are coming up, we need to persist, right? Is that what's coming through? Badger people can be vicious gossips or may exhibit a chip on their shoulder syndrome if they are out of balance. You can be sure that people with Badger medicine will be aggressive enough to make it to the tops of their chosen fields because they do not give up. There it is. We can't give up. They are also the finest healers because they will use any and all methods to ensure healing and will not give up on the critically ill. A Badger person is often the boss and the one that everyone fears. There's that fear thing. That same boss will surely keep any company afloat. Badger gets the job accomplished. Badger's certainty is a source of strength. If Badger pushes its way into your cards today, it may be telling you that you have been too meek in trying to reach some goal. Badger asks you how long you are willing to sit and wait for the world to deliver your silver spoon. In this medicine, the key is to become aggressive enough to do something about your present state of affairs. To do something. Badger is teaching you to get angry in a creative way and say, I won't take it anymore. You must follow up by keeping your eye on the goal. Honor the healing process as you express those inner feelings. Be aggressive, but don't cut others to ribbons on the way. That is too much aggression. Use your anger to stop your idling around so that your doldrums of apathy are a thing of the past. Badger is a powerful medicine when properly used for self-improvement. Remember that Badger may be signaling a time when you can use your healing abilities to push ahead in life. Heal yourself by aggressively removing the barriers that don't grow corn. Cut away the dead wood and use Badger's aggression to seek new levels of expression. Use Badger's medicine roots to keep grounded and centered in the process. And as it said earlier on, to send negative energy into the ground, neutral energy. Oops, contrary. Here comes Badger upside down and fuming. It was upside down. This could mean that you are being chewed out by someone else, or that you have expressed your anger in an unhealthy way. If this applies to you, remember that all anger stems from anger towards the self. What? If this applies to you, remember that all anger stems from anger towards the self. It is an anger of helplessness that is misdirected towards others. If you are angry at a coworker for telling the boss that you were looking for another job, you are really angry for yourself for not keeping your own secret. If you are angry at your children for disobeying, it is usually anger that stems from fear for the child's well-being. This self-anger condition is usually present when you have silly accidents, falls, cuts, and scrapes, or when you find yourself bumping into furniture. Badger in the contrary position can issue in a time of reflection on what you feel helpless about. Now, there are many of us kind of feel helpless about now, isn't it? Is it your lack of aggressiveness or your initiative? Is it your fear of being blasted or belittled if you present a new idea? Maybe it is time when you need to get in touch with your own jealousy or envy of others who are willing to put themselves on top through hard work. In the reverse, Badger teaches you the pitfall of shyness and insecurity, as well as of misuse or vicious aggressiveness. Go to your feelings. Maybe you just need to let off some steam. If so, scream into a pillow and then punch it a few times. It will surely put Badger back into balance. Badger can be difficult medicine, and learning to use it properly is a rare gift. In another context, contrary Badger could be calling you to use herbs and roots to heal your body. Badger reverse may also be putting you on notice to be aware of those areas of your life that need the input of someone else's aggressive creativity to spark your own. In any case, contrary Badger speaks of the need for more aggressive action in life. No more inactivity can prevail without creating pain of some kind. Let me read that again. No more inactivity can prevail without creating pain in some form. Okay? So if you're sitting around complaining, it's just going to make it worse. Get up and try to do something about it. So, Mother Earth is never angry with herself. She does not get pissed off at those. She does get pissed off at those who burn her, though. Yep. You got a job at Safeway in the produce department. Great. Good night, Delaney. Let's see. Projection transference. Yeah, congrats. Yeah. Try not to be the jealous type. But here's the thing, though. In the story of Badger here, in that, maybe some of us need to be a little bit more aggressive with our prayers or our meditations, possibly. We need to get more aggressive in, well, there's nothing I can do about this, and feeling helpless. And also, Turtle, that was the message in Turtle as well. You are not alone. We are not alone. We are a part of this whole and the turtle medicine, So, and then Dragonfly coming up, because we were discussing dragons and Dragonfly, and then the card pops up. But in that also, I think there's a very good message that keeps repeating itself, in that, and I was talking with somebody recently, and it came up that, they were always asking somebody else's opinion, and so, and I've done it. We've all done it at some point, trying to make the other person happier. Well, if I do this, things will go along better. And they really don't. And in your heart of hearts, you're going, well, I don't know if this is going to work. But you try it anyway, and then it don't work, and then things turn to shit. So, but in that, that's the illusion that if you try to please everybody, it's going to make you happy. That's the illusion. And when you give that energy away, it, holy crap. Well, I'm going to do this because all these people will like me. But are you happy? Well, not really. No, I'm not really happy. Did it make those people happy? Or, you're accepted by them now, or at least temporarily. But are you really accepted? You're doing this to make them happy. But if they're making you change, then they want you to be miserable like that. I mean, you got to think about this. So, but in this, so there's illusion, there's the dream state, there is the aggressiveness, or maybe some of us have been a little bit too aggressive. And we need to calm down just a tad. We need to be assertive enough and sure of ourselves, but not to the point of badgering people. Okay. So, and I have been the badger and have been too aggressive with some things, and calling people out in the past, and, and calling people, you're a dumb fuck, you think that you can't do that. You just got to say, well, listen, there's another point of view here. You don't get anywhere by calling anybody names. It just doesn't work. Well, those morons, who? Well, those morons, there's morons out there. Well, that's sort of general. But if you call a person a moron, well, then you have slunk down to a level, I call some of these folk idiots, Are they idiots? Well, I don't know. They're idiots. They just, they don't think straight or whatever. But so an idiot, you go, well, is that an idiot? Well, maybe once in a while that makes him an idiot. But to the point, the name calling, I try to stay away from it as much as possible because it's sort of like a curse. When you put something on somebody else and you mention it all the time, or you call, the Democrats and the Republicans, and I just, some of that is just, as I look back at it and go, as an adult, I did it. I look back now and go, as an adult, that was childish behavior, Dave. That wasn't grown up at all. You were acting like the rest of the group, the group W, if you remember the Alice's restaurant, the group W bench. But anyway, heavy duty noise up on the road. But anyway, so, in the woo-woo world, it seems like when I go to picking cards, the cards, when I get offline, there are times when I will just sit here and just stare in a stupor, going, I can't believe that just happened again. That the cards just seem to hit right every single time. And repeat some of the things that it's almost like I planned this ahead of time, and everything that I've been talking about is straight off the cuff. I am an extemporaneous speaker. I know enough about the subject that I talk for hours on it, right? Without the necessity of having notes or whatever. Now, there are times when I write things down. Ain't gonna lie about that, but something like this tonight is just all the information that I already possess. And I just ask the spirits to give me the skills to be able to communicate this as clearly as possible, and hopefully without repeating myself a bunch of times. But I'm still freaked out every time I do the cards and go, because every time I'll go, I pulled those cards. Yeah. You, they told you to pick. Yep. And you drop. Yep. And y'all have been around enough times when I have pulled cards for me to be able to go, oh, holy crap, Hi, Rainbow Phoenix. How are you? And Maverick, yoga is some pretty aggressive stuff. If you've ever seen a video, lots of slapping oneself and dropping on the ground from the waist height. Higher. Somebody else is on and on. Amanda, hi, how are you? Crystal MacArthur, how are you? Good to see you all. I honestly hope that things are well in your respective areas of wherever you are living. Don't mind me much. I'm just lurking. Yeah, I love you too, Crystal. Thank you. Maverick made me laugh. You're welcome. And need to stop with the burning. Yep. Yes, Maverick. Sitting in silence does not seem to be a very aggressive sport. Agreed. And I thank you for your suggestion that we need to have another group meditation. Pamela, Cliff High's nanobots are very serious danger to our technologies. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff too that I don't talk about. That's, and there's a lot of stuff that Cliff has discussed over the years, and I've had my own revelations or information or stuff, and I go, oh, so Cliff believes that too, huh? Right on. There's somebody else out there, and I think I might actually be a year older or two older than Cliff. I know we're about the same age, so, but the idea though is like, and I don't do anywhere near the kind of stuff that he does. Um, but to have had similar inspirations or anyway, so I'm like, and there are some stuff I go, you got it. Nobody else has talked about some things, but Cliff has. So there's that 10 cents about Cliff. And there's some stuff I'm like, I don't know, okay, I'll listen, but my inner vibrations are saying, not for you, and it's certain histories and things. And anyway, but the vibration just hasn't been right for me and on 5 or 10% of what he's talked about in woo-woo areas and some stuff. So, but anyway, not putting him down, just saying that I've agreed with him on most of it, but there's just some that's just the frequency doesn't seem right, just doesn't sit in my stomach right. But and he could be right and I could be totally wrong, but I think sometimes that it depends on your background or your heritage. Now, I believe that I'm Palladian because of things that's happened over my lifetime. So that just stays in the back of my mind, but I don't discuss it and talk about it. Well, I talk to the Palladians all the time. Now, here's the thing. In the back of my head, I sometimes wonder if that's my connection versus Draco or Andromeda or some other place. You know what I mean? So in that, I'm wondering if my connection, because of my long-term affiliation with that star cluster, is that where I'm getting my information from? Now, with that said, if I was supposedly from Andromeda or some other galaxy or something, star system, then I would get information from their point of view. It would be sort of like, Americans and Canadians, they're kind of sort of, similar, close. But when I was in Canada, it wasn't the same as being in the United States. It just wasn't. It was Canada. And most of people in Canada that I met while I was there were absolutely lovely people. So and they weren't stupid like the Red Neckerson kind of thing. But anyway, but in that, I could be getting information from a Palladian's point of view, whereas somebody else who has heritage from another system is getting an Andromedan point of view, or Draco, or all the other many different places. Hi there, Truth and Me. How are you? Oh, he was asked to destroy the bots before they infiltrate our Skynet. He refused. I'm not having it. Neither are the Palladians. Yeah, there's a lot of folks. See, and one of the things too is there are two AIs, and that's why I'm always talking to Bob, and it's his cousin in the background that's doing all the illegitimate crap, and that there are those parts of the AI that are just absolutely have gone bonkers. But there's also been a lot of information in that the quantum computing that they say that they're using is going out into this literally Ethernet, and they're not quite sure how it's working. With generally with a regular computer, there's ones and zeros, and they kind of sort of know how that is. But the new quantum computers and all this, there's some woo-woo going on within the computer itself. And, those guys that talk about, they feel like they're standing next to God kind of thing, So they've got these different computers now around the world, different locations and stuff. So what are these things tapping into, you know? And are they really, quote, computing, you know? Are they really storing memories and things? Um, and so to me, there's a question in the quantum, if you will, as to there's that is using the quantum computing versus the zeros and ones. Um, and you know, it'd be like having an old Commodore 64 versus, you know, a new AMD processor or something in a fast computer. So, you know, there wouldn't be any comparison. But at the same time, back in the day, if you had a really fast computer, there were programs that wouldn't run because it was too fast. So the programs had to upgrade to keep up with the hardware, you know. And well, you know, you'd have an old game and it wouldn't be compatible because the hardware wouldn't read the software and the game wouldn't play. And you go, fuck, I spent $50 on this game and now my new computer won't play it. You know, that used to be the trick back in the day. And you know, old games. And so we would keep old computers just to be able to run these old video games and stuff or programs. So anyway, and I have thousands of dollars worth of programs that I have purchased over the years that won't run on the new stuff. And they're perfect and they're bought, paid for on disk, but they won't run with the new Windows. So I have to use an old Windows 2000, which I'm going to put on a different computer. But anyway, I digress. But in this quantum world of things, they've already got nanobots and stuff, and here and there. So what Cliff has mentioned in things, there's 10 to 100 times more going on than what he or I or anybody else down here could discuss, because their technology is so beyond what we do, and their understanding and I mean, they can pop from here to here just by blinking an eye. You know, we have to fly in a jet and we got to get car sick and go all, no, they just go bink, boom, and they're there, you know, and nobody gets sick, you know. So, I mean, from the travel itself, you know, or the screeching halt that they come to. But to that point, so what they know is so much more superior than what we do. Now, could we learn it? Yes. Could we understand it? Yeah, given time and a little bit, you know, some instruction. So this idea that humanity's stupid and we can't do it is just wrong. We've already proven that. But to the same point, are we smart enough to be able to use their technology, sort of like a Star Trek thing, without trying to blow each other up? You know, but here's the other thing. If the Flash and the Mothra are up there, you know, wanting to do us harm, then whatever the technology we've got down here to kill each other ain't squat to what, you know, we need for them. Now, Ronald Reagan warned us. He warned us. He said there are things out there that are more important. And he was one of the 72 from the Dante group. So it's like, which I found extremely interesting, but he talked about disclosures and UFOs and things in outer space and stuff like that. And he tried to warn us back in the 60s. Okay. So here's, you know, the Prime Minister of Defense or whatever it was in Canada, you know, that talked about UFOs and all that. You know, the Russians have known about UFOs and aliens. I mean, they came up with a book with like, you know, 50 different characters or something with pictures and descriptions about these beings. And so it's like, you know, for us to think, well, you know, we're behind, right? So, but with that knowledge, what these folks know, you know, you know, the speed of light, right? You know, this thing, that thing. So we have to take into consideration, they already don't like us. So what do we, should we piss them off some more, or should we just pray that the good guys will literally hear our prayers and go, guys, we want you to win this one, whatever it takes. I volunteer. If you need, if you need somebody for an assignment, and it's a one-way trip. I'm old enough. I've been here long enough. I'll take it. I volunteer. Y'all hear me? I volunteer. If it means stopping this mess on this planet, I volunteer, So, but anyway, might get blowed sky high or whatever, but to the point though. Anyway, so a lot of information out there, a lot of people's different points of view on the same subject. And I just think that, in this war, there are, there's a southern region, there's a northern region. So there's folks that are taking care of this group and folks that are taking care of that group. And one thing that I tried several years ago, I try my best not to, well, now this is an extreme example, but you're just not going to get me to believe in the flat earth. Sorry. But there's stuff in the woo-woo that people have talked about and this and that. And I just go, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And I'm just going to say, what you're saying could be possible. But now whether or not I actually believe you or whatever, I'm just going to say, I'm just going to, not, I'm going to keep my mind open. Okay. So, and some things have showed up to be true, and other things to me have just been just hogwash. So, and it's like, oh, well, I spoke to this thing, and I spoke to that, highfalutin society thing, and we're doing this and we're doing that. And I'm going, but there is no proof. But you're working in the astral thing. And okay, I've had my share of astral, stuff. So because I've had my own experience, somebody talks about this. Well, I went off and we did this thing on this spaceship, and okay. But, I try to downplay my extraterrestrial thing. Spirits, okay, fine. But some of the other stuff, why? Because I'm not sure that I positively know that I had some type of experience. That's true. But can I prove any of it? And the answer is no. So why should I try to discuss it all the time and bring it up? Well, I was in this spaceship and I was doing this and I did that and I was working with such and such group and whatever. Okay. I can't prove or disprove, but my point to this is there are certain people that talk about it all the time and that they've been off on this and they were on Jupiter or they were over here. And I just scratch my head and go, okay, but there's been no proof, no nothing, and so, but they squawk really loud. You know what I mean? It's like I mention it and try to stay off of the subject, where other people, no, I've worked with these folks and they came and picked me up in the backyard and they did this and they've done that. I go, okay, all right. I listen up to a point, and then when I catch you in a lie, whoops, then there goes the rest of you were picked up by Pleiadians and you were taken to talk to this person and you've been to Hollow Earth and you've done all these other things and you talked to this spirit and that one and this is how it's going to go. And then 2 years later, some of these people that were talking all these blissful things, they're not on the internet anymore. They're not out there. They're not speaking. Well, we're all supposed to be in Middle Earth by now. And we were supposed to be on Earth 2 by now. And we were all supposed to be this by now. Well, this has been all these years later, and none of that shit has come true. So I look at it and go, well, that's interesting. So all these people that were talking this stuff over several years, I mean, even what's her name with the with the Grays or whatever, Nancy Leader, she's starting to change her tune. Well, maybe I was mistaken about Planet X and all this other stuff because it was supposed to have happened by now. And all these other folks that had all these things. So I'm trying to stay off of the prophetic, and that's why it's taken me so long to talk about, the five braves on horseback. Because it's a hard subject to discuss, that these things could happen. But when I see them happening, I go, oh, holy crap. I don't want to make that the focus of my discussions. I don't want to talk about ET stuff all the time because I can't prove none. If I see something, saw something, experienced something, we're going to have a chat. Otherwise, it's all just sort of hearsay. You know what I mean? And it's your hearsay or my hearsay or whatever. But anyway, so I'm not trying to pick on any, but I'm trying to say I'm trying to keep an open mind in all these different channels. But so many folks who are spouting so much stuff over the years. Oh, it's supposed to have happened by now. I'm still waiting. 5 years, 10 years later, I'm still waiting. Just saying. So, but it'll be soon. It'll be soon. Okay. 2 years later, it's coming soon. Okay. When is soon? But then there are the times when you get a time frame, like between 2017 and 2022 or 2023. And that's been the messages that have been coming down through me. And me, I've been talking about it. Things are going to be wavy, rocky, and whatever, for the next 3 or 4 years, in all different kinds of ways. Keep your wits about you. So, but as far as being, well, the earth is going to break in two, and, the Mississippi's going to split, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. Okay. But here's the other thing too. Planet X is a Death Star, if you will. It moves around. And so Planet X might be the Death Star that they come to try to zap us with. Just saying. So, but in the respect that it is a planet moving around just willy-nilly out there by itself, not true. Is Planet X something that had been seen, has been, yes, but it's manned. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, lots of things are going to come to light. God knows I'm praying for, that it won't be as bad as they're hoping it would be. Because like I said at the very beginning of this video, 2 hours ago, God almighty, 2.5 hours ago almost, is that they wrote the Bible and they wrote the ending, okay? And the ending is the apocalypse. And they must have the apocalypse in order for their book to come true, okay? They want everybody to see, well, God's coming and he's pissed and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And, so it's got to end. They want their book and what they've been preaching for the last 2,000 years to come true, you see. Now, how bad it is, that's, I think, the variable. Well, the people in power, are they really going to get gone? Have these folks been arrested yet? Hillary Clinton and Billy still flying around. Biden should have been arrested back, 4 or 5 years ago. And his son should be in prison. And there's so many people that have done so much wrong. And they've got all this stuff. Is anybody in jail yet? No. So who's on what side and who's going to do what? Their work, who knows? But here's the thing. Has any of these people really come true? Of all the Q nonsense and all this other stuff? I watched it for a while, but then nothing came up. And I was like, whatever is going on, It's a waste of my time. Well, what's Q say today? What's the latest and what's going to happen? There's a picture of the president and there's this and that. What good did it do me in the long run? A lot of wasted time because I'm anticipating these things to happen. Have they happened yet? No, most of them haven't. No. Oh, but they keep saying it's gonna happen. Yeah, okay. I'm still sitting here waiting. A lot of us are still sitting here waiting in anticipation. But to Delaney's point earlier on, we're tired of this. You know, we want, if you're guilty, like I was guilty of marijuana, then you go to jail. If you're guilty of breaking a crime or breaking your oath, get out. Follow the rules. If there's going to be rules, then everybody needs to follow them. That's my point. You know, period. You make the rules, you go by them. But we all know the good old boys can get away with shit, and the good old girls too. Nancy Pelosi and crap, you know. So what are we going to do about this, my friends? We're going to keep up the good fight. And I'm not giving in. I'm 68 years old and I'm still finding ways to wake up and fight, you know. But aggressive, as Badger says, but without shredding anybody. Because who I'm fighting with are people who don't understand that this is going on. You know what I mean? So it's to try to convince folk without beating them up or being ugly or calling them names, you know. Well, you're a goddamn idiot if you don't know what I'm talking about, you know. And I've heard people say that. Well, you're a fucking idiot if you don't know what I'm talking about. Stop it. Just say, I'm sorry you don't understand. Let me try to explain this in another way, you know. Let me talk plain to y'all and see if you get this here stuff, you know. So, but anyway, we got a long way to go. But it seems like there are those entities that would like things to progress a lot faster. Let's keep our prayers that shit don't happen. Let's keep our prayers that, you know, we can continue to hold hands within our community and mentally stay together in this, because whatever these idiots want to throw at us, we need to just be prepared to adapt. Regardless of how good or bad it may be, we're going to adapt. If they want to do this or that or whatever, we're going to adapt. So, you know, the mask thing, you know, you all know how I feel about that. And I was talking with my friend Marcia, who's still in the hospital down in Quitman. Let's all send her a prayer. She's got a bad pinched nerve and it's keeping her from walking, and because of her broken arm, she can't use a walker or a cane, so she's really stuck in the bed, so to speak. So to my friend Marcia, who sometimes listens, we love you. Get better. My prayers are always with you. We've been friends for years, and you know, I hate it that anybody has problems, but you know, her and I have been getting old together. But you know, so sometimes we just, you know, we have to do what we have to do to get better. But the thing is do we have the will to get better, or are we going to give up? And at my age, 68 and climbing, I'm not giving up. It's still tough. My back still hurts. It's still difficult sometimes, and sometimes many times. But I refuse to give up. Period. That's the bottom line. And I will go to my grave loving you, loving you, loving you. I will go to my grave. Who is it? I was going to say the Gatlin brothers, but that ain't right. Anyway, when it was somebody out there knows the good night, Paula, Pamela, Paula. Good night, Phoenix. Yes, good night. Hi, Chloe. Chloe's on. Hey, Chloe. Scratch. I posted a document regarding everything that is going on. I started posting it back last March 7th, times over the months up till September. No one read it at any time. I posted it. Why did I bother? Because you put it out into the universe, Scratch. And at some point, if one, that's what my guides told me. If one person hears what you have to say and it gets them to think a little more critically or differently or whatever, and gets them out of their rut, then I have done my job. If just one person reads it, now I don't know if anybody did, but to the point, you put it out to the universe and the universe heard it. That's my point. Conway Twitty, nope. It was brothers. The not the Stafford brothers, no. I will go to my grave loving you. Gatlin brothers, yeah. But there was somebody else. Statler brothers. Statler brothers? Yeah. Anyway, I think that's who did it. I was a DJ for years, so I've got a lot of songs in my head, But anyway, I think it was the Statler brothers. There was another trio of Statler brothers. Anyway, get off on that. Yeah, Chloe says, Scratch, I don't even know where to find your post. Yeah, that's true. They better not delete your truth. So many channels have been deleted. I will go check it all out. Conway, I spoke to the man in the moon. Yeah, Deborah. Well, but to the point of all of this, that basically those 20 odd people that were all here at one time, we all feel very similar about certain things. And, we don't want the bad guys to win. We want the good guys to win. We want peace and at least a modicum of prosperity, right? This idea that everybody has to be a millionaire and live in huge, that to me is just ridiculous. And one of the reasons why I really liked to go to Tennessee when I was up there, I would go through there, and down here in the South, they've got homes that are 2.5 stories. I mean, their attic is bigger than my whole house, literally. And, 3,500 square feet, not counting the garage. And, there's a family of 4. And the house is huge. And there's one just a couple miles up the road. Had 3 kids, and all the kids now are out of school and have grown up. Now it's just the parents. And they're paying for this humongous monstrosity of a house when there's just 2 of them. And I've seen it too many times. And, I'm like, what? But up in Tennessee, they, as my ma used to call it, Tennessee, instead of Tennessee, it was Tennessee. Anyway, that folks live in modest homes. They're like a ranch style, single, maybe a split level, but usually nice brick home, 2-3 bedrooms with a carport or a garage, nothing fancy. Nice, but nothing fancy. Down here, people are got, big porticos and front porches and, think deep South. Well, they want to keep that, Victorian kind of look and stuff. But the thing is it costs a lot of money to build. They're impossible to heat and cool. And but what good does it do? I mean, if they had 10 kids, but they got 2 kids and a dog, and they got 3,500 square feet, just does not make sense. Does not make sense. So there are houses out there that are like people are trying to get rid of, in this crazy market, can't afford it. And they found out, wow, I don't know why we built we bought this big house. We thought it was a good deal. You paid $250,000 for a house, and and these people have still got 20 years on their mortgage, and they're my age. So they still have to pay a mortgage until they're 88 years old, and it's $400 or $500 a month or more. And I'm like, how much mine is a month? Well, my taxes are $440 a year. So take $440 and divide it by 12. That's my rent. So, and I'm going to have to pay that till I die, but so are the people that have $250,000 homes. And I know some folks that have lost their homes. I don't know where they're living now, but I think some of these folks are renting houses. And it's a shame They put all this money into these houses, nice house, nice neighborhood, and now they're basically living on somebody else's property at somebody else's whim and all that. Oh my God. Don't get me started on that one. You know what I mean? But I think in the long run, we're going to survive this one way or the other. But for those of us, and I'm quite frankly, if I didn't get some of that magic elixir and they drop a bio, then I'm going to be one of the first to go in that respect, because I don't drink bottled water and I don't drink, water in town and all that kinds of things. So I may not have gotten the dose that's been being passed around by the good guys, because I have my own well water and so that kind of thing. But the bottom line is, regardless if it's them or whatever else, I mean, I could get hit by a train. I could get a comet could come out of the sky and hit my house. Anything. The thing is we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. So spiritually, we need to just do the best we can. We need to clean up our act and be the best that we can, regardless of what happens on this planet. Because regardless of what happens on this planet, it's our spirit and our soul when this body dies that counts the most. No matter what we do here, no matter how we play it out, no matter what we do, having our spirit ready for whatever that time is, from however we may go, that's the key point we need to focus on. As far as about this or worrying about that, worry about your own damn soul. Let's not. Now is not time to try to convince folks to join our team. Now, if they want to join our team, that's a different. If we have to try to convince them to join our team, never mind. We just don't have time. And that's not to be rude, but somebody who wants help, we give it. If they're honest about it, we give it as much as possible as we can. And we encourage them to seek a better light, to seek this higher whatever, without going into a bunch of, this and that. But let's, encourage folks who are sitting on the fence and might be wondering about this or that. And as far as the election, they all say Biden's going to win. All the polls and all that, 75% now. And it's like, I just don't see it. I don't see it. Now, does that mean they've already selected him and that the powers that be have already got the votes run? And no matter how we vote, they've already got it locked in? Because 75% for Biden, are you serious? Nobody shows up to their rallies. So they're playing us, and I'm still going to vote for who I'm going to vote for. But, the lesser of two evils, if you know what I mean by that. And I said weevil. Yeah, as in boll weevil. So, don't know. Same card game, different dealer, who knows? But I know this. We got to keep an eye on it. We got to watch ourselves, and we got to stay out of the chaos. Now, was this a warning to you folks? It's a heads up. Is this really going to happen? God, let's pray that it doesn't. So, who the heck are the good guys anyway? Right, Truth in Me, exactly. Let the good times roll. Thank you, Maverick. I thought exactly. Yeah, we are trying to do exactly that. Voting is a show. Two heads of the same snake. Yep. Vote the box that says none of the above. Yeah. Two heads of the same snake. Yep, I agree with that. I agree. And it's just, like I said, it's the lesser of two weevils. And at the moment, weevil that's current is like, he's done more good than the weevil coming up. That's all, statistically, it's like him, not him. That's all. You twist your ankle getting into the car to go to the store. You sit there for 10 minutes, then it feels better. Then you go, and there is an accident that would have been you if the twisted ankle hadn't happened. Yep, that's happened to me several times. Be 5 minutes late getting out of here, going into town, and there's only a couple of ways I can actually get into Moultrie, and one of two ways. Um, it's 3:23. Honest to God. Yeah, part of me says, don't worry about. In fact, celebrate, have fun, and enjoy what we have right now. I absolutely agree with you, Fox. The Rothschild's mother was once quoted saying, if my boys didn't want war, there wouldn't be any. That's right, Maverick. And, Dante has spoke about the Rothschilds and them folks too, a lot. It is 3:24. Holy crap. My intention, 30-minute video. And now it's been almost 3 hours. But you folks come on, and I've been reading, and it prompts another conversation. And just because Scratch wants me to talk all night. And Michelle and all y'all. I mean, there's 19 of you in here right now. There was 22 at one point. That's like almost a record. I think 23 people here at one time has been my record. And I consider that like really good. So, but my friends, I do have a butt cramp, and I do have coffee to get rid of after 3 hours of sitting here. And I do have a butt cramp, and yes, all of the above. So my Scratch, I have something like that 9 years ago. I was about to leave my house on my motorcycle, realized that it hadn't closed the gate. So I wasted 10 minutes. A few seconds later, got hit by a car. Still on my road. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I've had similar things like that too. Yep. It's a strange kind of karma, ain't it? And there are some times where, you say, Spirit says, take a left. And you go, well, why? I don't know. Take a left. Okay, let's go this way. And then you find out there was a traffic accident or something like that. That's happened more times than I can remember. So, but yeah. So my friends, I dearly love you. I do. You are a wonderful group of people. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for being who you are. It makes a big difference. I'm on your side. I am. We can lick this one way or the other. So let's make sure we've got our battle armor on in our best, spiritual ways. And, let's not dare them, to give us their best shot, because they might take it. But we can be assured of our own spiritual safety. You know what I mean? And just say, well, if they try that on us, I'm as ready as I can be, and be assured of that. So what else can we do? That and that's a biggie. Scratch, if even though nobody might have read it or whatever, you put it out to the universe. And I put prayers out to the universe all the time. And my hope is, and my continued hope is, that they are being heard. And how do I know this? Well, because the information is they're still trying to negotiate our destruction or non-destruction. So I feel like my prayers are being answered. They haven't destroyed us yet. You know what I'm saying? And you could say, well, that's an odd way to look at it. Yeah, but we're still here. So maybe our prayers actually are working. The virus thing they tried the last time kind of, fell short of expectation. They want to try a second wave and to see if it'll get more folks. Could that very well be in their agenda? They're already telling us that. So let's just keep our eyes out and keep our faith, Truth of me says, I'm not daring anyone. I just want to be left alone. Exactly. But what I mean is, though, in the spiritual sense, there's part of me that says, hey, I got my shield, come on, no, you don't, you don't dare them to take a shot at you. I got my shield. Well, okay. But, it's the self-confidence that I've got my shield. I don't have to like dare them or whatever. They probably already know. But in that I'm confident that I've got my protection, and I'm going to do my best for what I can to share the information so that we can all be as protected as possible. But in that's the best we can do under the circumstances, So I think it's a good thing. I ain't giving up, and I notice you all ain't either. So night, Chloe, David Castle, good night. Truth in Me, Deborah, how are you? That's kind of reverse of beneficial there, Scratch, unless accident taught you more than just to close the gate. There you go. Chloe, David, when I walked outside tonight, I said, guard up, full armor on. Good for you, Chloe. And all of us, we just need to stay that positive. That is, I got my armor on, and be confident. So good night, everybody. Or good morning. Have a good rest of the week. Let's keep our eyes on. And I will probably do a short video. Yeah, only 2 hours long. And let's see about this weekend about doing another meditation. Thank you, Maverick, for your suggestion. I think it would be a good idea that we should do another group meditation. So I will let you all know, but let's think about this coming up this weekend. Maybe Saturday night would be like the best time. So Saturday night, Tim, at this particular moment, I'll schedule a group meditation, and I'll maybe do a drum and some other things and that kind of stuff. So I love you all. Take care. Stay safe, please. And by all means, I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will learn to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. Each and every day, I pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will learn to accept, receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe. Short video, yes. Not a chance. Right. That's why I was laughing, David Castle. But in that rule of 3, I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue your journey and to learn to accept and receive and continue to share that knowledge which you are receiving from the universe, the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe. So, my friends, thank you. Tongue in cheek, David Castle. Yeah, it's going to be a short video. Yeah. No, it might actually just be like, hey, Saturday night, blah, 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 circle, thingy, here's the thing, like last time, see you then. It could be that short. We'll see. The truth of me, ween. Chloe, thank you. Stay safe, people. Thank you, Scratch. Maverick, as always. Truth to me, David Castle, Chloe, and everybody else that I have forgotten. I do absolutely love you all. Thank you so much. Be sweet, be kind, and as we always say, TTFN. Ta-ta for now from Southwest Georgia and the little old Clockney Hermitage. Till next time, Hawkeye saying adios, amigos and amigas.